Hello and welcome to Hot Indonesia, the talk show I try not to miss. I'm Dalton Tanonaka in Jakarta. Here is this week's H-I Hotlist. Trump card. Where does Indonesia stand on the U.S. president's ongoing troubles, including Iran? Fuzzy picture, why the national TV broadcaster isn't winning applause or viewers. And flood control, how you can help yourself when the water starts to rise again. And now here are my co-hosts. Sandrina Malakiano, former TV news anchor, now a political marketing consultant and multilinguist.
Oh, okay.
And Santiago Uno, former vice governor of Jakarta, business executive and new look teen idol.
Sandi Tanonaka. Sandi Tanonaka.
New year, new
Don't
look.
expect me to grow mustache.
No, I won't.
Okay?
Okay, hot topic number one, Trump card. Now, tensions had been building between Iran and the United States over canceled treaties, military incidents, and threats. But the big shoe dropped on January 3rd when a U.S. airstrike killed the head of Iran's elite Quds military force, Qasem Soleimani. Iran retaliated by firing rockets at U.S. military bases in Iraq. The situation remains tense as the world watches nervously. Now, what do we think here in Indonesia? Well, Foreign Minister Retno Marsudi said, and I quote, "We hope both sides would do their utmost to exercise self-restraint so the escalation of conflict can be avoided." An editorial in the Jakarta Post was less diplomatic. Quote, "Trump's decision to assassinate a sovereign actor like Soleimani could set off a major war. Every sensible world leader must try to stop this madness." Now, as an American, I want to believe in my president's actions, but because he's lied and withheld information in the past, I just don't know. I just don't know.
This is very serious. I just got back from the States, and whereby news is all over this issue. And first, the definition: is it killing or is it assassinations? And whether it's
an act of terrorism.
An act of terrorism.
Some
But anyway,
Yeah.
this is something that is could escalate even further, and we don't need that given the troubled hotspots around the world. So it is very important for us to remain calm and urge both sides to de-escalate and
How
try
is the
to...
sentiment there in the States?
The sentiments in the States sort of like mixed. U.S. is really now very polarized because the election is coming up in 2020. A lot of, I guess, political camps have their own version of what happened and whether the president has overreached and actually having this erratic behavior. But we don't want to get into the details of the intelligence and the decisions on why.
Well, the
But
political leaders want answers, but they're not getting it.
Wait,
they had briefings and they said they weren't told.
This so-called small war in the States right now with the impeachment ongoing that Trump is facing.
That's sort of like clouding.
Is this like what what I would say is that he's creating a bigger war outside to take people's attention off from the impeachment case?
And that's sad if he did that, but I hope
I
not.
hope
Don't you see
not.
that is
It
what's
has
happening?
taken impeachment off the front pages for sure.
Sure.
But I don't think you would want to start a potential war to get him off the political
No,
stuff.
you know, it sounds
give
like
him some
this
credit.
movie, some kind of an old movie whereby actually war could pretty much play into
But come on,
internal politics.
If you see World War II, like what happened at Pearl Harbor was actually what they called a miscalculated strategy because Japan made a wrong strategy, waking up the sleeping tiger, and then it erupted. But still, it depends on what kind of leader Trump is. The world is waiting to see.
Well, there is the religious aspect to this too. I want to address that shortly or briefly.
Wow.
Because there are those in the Muslim majority countries who are angry because the target was Muslim. But I don't think this is about religion. It's about security.
But your question was, how should Indonesia react?
And what are people saying here? You hear it.
I mean, you read the statement, the formal statement given by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Right. Yeah. Be calm.
Which is very, very limited and very diplomatic. I wouldn't say that we should take sides. Of course not. But Indonesia is in the Security Council of the United Nations. I mean, we should play a bigger, greater, stronger role as member of the Security Council. I mean, sitting there.
What statement would you make if you were the foreign minister?
of course, like we should not statement, conduct,
Okay.
hold talks with other countries, make use of the Security Council in the United Nations, and together try to maintain world peace.
Okay, but would you rebuke the U.S. for doing this?
Well, of course, what Trump did, I mean, I would say that's an act of terrorism. I mean, like Mahathir Mohamad said, who knows, one day I might be the one who would be killed by a drone by the U.S. That could happen to anyone. Something like that should not be allowed.
Yeah,
But
respect sovereignty.
The question is back to Indonesia. It is written
We have politik
in our,
bebas aktif, of course.
it
We
is-
don't take sides.
It is in the written in the preamble of our constitutions, whereby we have to maintain free, independent, and active approach to world issue to promote peace, stability, freedom, as well as mutual respect. So, without really going into taking sides, we need to. We're the fourth largest country in the world in terms of populations. We need to step up. We need to show that we're present and what is our view, and make sure that the two sides de-escalate. But I'm happy. I think in the last 2 days, things are getting more and more.
Over the past week or
Yeah,
so,
over the past week, things are getting more and more. I guess de-escalate. Iran has retaliated, but it's not something
with
that
no
will.
casualties.
Does the
they
average
say.
Indonesian care?
Well,
Are they paying attention to
okay,
this?
what people will see is that such a conflict has significant impact, like on oil prices, which will in turn
Yeah, once the oil price hits the roof and Pertamina has
it
to
went
adjust,
up 4%.
and Indonesians will feel it, and the inflations will move up.
For now, it's still something from a distance, but when it comes to Indonesia, okay, small groups perhaps. Seeing it from a religious point of view, we as the biggest Muslim country in the world should take a stronger action or be more firm.
Well, we
towards
saw
this
what
issue,
happened
but
in the Iraq War.
Right.
Indonesia
Yeah.
was firmly against that. So that's why I'm wondering if the reaction will be similar, but we haven't reached that point.
We haven't
Yeah.
reached that point, and,
Hopefully we
and
don't have
our
to.
reactions on the Iraqi wars was true, because the weapons of mass destructions that was alleged was proven not to be the case. But anyway, I guess we need to pay very, very close attentions to the issues. And again, I have to say, this is President Jokowi's second term. He had the ability now and the potentials to step forward and make sure, use any kind of forum, security councils, new forum.
Step up more as a world
use
leader.
this platform to promote where Indonesia stands on, and making sure that Indonesia be part of the world peace.
Yeah, let's hope this de-escalates further. Okay, Hot Indo will continue shortly. Why Indonesia's national broadcaster has a fuzzy picture. You're watching Hot Indonesia with Sandrina, Sandy, and me. Here's hot topic number 2, fuzzy picture. Television of the Republic of Indonesia, TVRI, began broadcasting in 1962 as part of President Sukarno's infrastructure push for the Asian Games. It now has 5,000 workers with 29 regional stations and an annual budget of $70 million. But less than 2% of the country watches the state-owned broadcaster, and management conflict recently resulted in the suspension of its president-director. A 2017 analysis done by the University of Melbourne said that fixing TVRI, quote, requires serious long-term initiatives and funds to improve the quality, reliability, and reach. The problem has been there a long time.
Yes. I actually grew up there. I started
Your career
my
was-
career there
yeah.
from a TVRI station
Give
of
us the inside
Denpasar in
scoop.
Bali.
Okay.
Well, from my point of view, it's a lot of layers of problems internally in TVRI, in terms of culture, in terms of the human resources, the management. But moreover, seen from outside, what we know is that TVRI was established in 1961, 59 years ago, and most of it's a state-owned TV station. And for decades, it was the propaganda tool of the New Order era. And after, in 1989, if I'm not mistaken,
RCTI,
yeah,
right?
RCTI, the government allowed the private TV stations to air. Then it became worse because it became a propaganda tool of the government, which had nothing new.
It got worse after the
got-
private stations were allowed in.
because it maintained its very old school type of
I
programs.
see. I mean, the quality of production got
yes,
worse.
and also the internal management was totally so bad. The people are paid really low, and then since the government made this law that all the income for TVRI goes as income from tax, pendapatan bukan pajak, tidak kena pendapatan negara bukan pajak,
PNBP.
PNBP. So the income of the country, not from taxes, which comes from TVRI. So they were facing more financial problems internally. So,
Okay, well, it doesn't have to be like that. I
but
think
there is a rebranding issue here.
I understand, and we'll talk about Helmiaya in a second. I worked at Japan's public broadcaster NHK for 4 years, where quality and professionalism is well known in the world, unquestioned in the industry. Yes, they have more funding, more than double, but I believe it's about the attitude and really serving the mission, and that is making good quality television.
Yep.
That should be the goal.
Yeah, I used to.
Do you watch TVRI?
No,
Hold on, that's the first thing. Do you watch TVRI?
I do watch.
Well,
You
when
really
grew
do?
up, that was the only choice you had.
yeah.
Now or when it was the only TV
Back
station?
then, especially the Dunia Dalam Berita
Yeah.
and the English program, and
That was the only news we had.
Believe it or not, I also grew up in TVRI because my mom hosted
Oh, yeah,
one
that's
show
true.
in the early 1970s, and she used to bring me up to the TVRI
literally
studio.
grew up
studio,
there.
baby.
So, I think there are three key issues here. First is corporate governance. Governance is weak, and it has been politicized for too long. So you are not running a media company. You're basically running some kind of a
Government bureaucracy.
A government bureaucracy where there is no incentive. Second, content is king. You need to produce the content whereby it will generate viewership, and this is not happening in the last, I think, few years of TVRI. Back in the old days, people watch TVRI, especially the program that matters to them, like the world news, the English program.
But they had no choice by then.
Yeah,
It was the
and-
only TV station.
But if you have content, you will still have viewership.
They had great music programs
And get-
Yes,
good music
but it
program.
was it was appropriate for that time. But then they got stuck in time, I
And
think.
third, the next challenge of TVRI is a shrinking viewership of TV, free-to-air TV anyway, because people are moving into smaller screens.
But that's a more recent problem. But it stems from 10, 15 years ago. the
But
problem.
if you give $70 million of budget to some kind of an upstart media company like
The Indonesian channel, that'd be
the
great.
Indonesian channel,
we'll take 1/10 of it.
we're going to produce great content.
Of course,
Yes,
of course.
content is king. I agree because, like now, one of the problems that caused Helmi Yahya to be ousted
Former
from office,
president, director. Yeah.
yes, is because of the use of high budget, a lot of the budget to buy and pay for
Better
international programs. Like they aired.
Did he go over budget, or was that or?
I think yeah, because I don't know about how much money was allocated for TVRI, but I think they ran out of money, so the staff were not paid for several months. So it became an internal issue. Actually, there was an improvement because they aired like live
Good
soccer
show. Yeah.
the SEA Games also.
Yeah, so
which had-
governance, back to governance, I think it's when it relates to payment of staff, how transparency and accountability should be
gotta
improved.
do- you gotta do that at least.
60% of the staff are civil servants.
Yeah, and 5,000 people, that's a lot
Lot.
of jobs.
Yep.
So you need to be more efficient. You need to probably use the new way of this gig economy,
Yeah.
whereby you could outsource some of the content creations at a very affordable.
So
Well, I know-
rebranding, good content, public accountability,
But
transparency.
Helmi Yahya, I understand, and he's a former TV broadcaster,
He's a
well
good
known.
guy, yeah.
I understand he was
He's
trying to
very
make
creative.
changes and
And he
tighten
make good
up
content.
some of the
You know-
things. But bureaucracies are resistant
Yes,
to change.
because there are like two
Nobody
kings,
wants to-
two sons there. The board of controllers
It was
and
the
the board
board
of
that
directors.
suspended him in
Yes.
in December.
So
early
these two
December.
actually have to work together, not against each other.
That's why the governance, and I think this could be TVRI could be fixed like NHK or PBS. PBS have good content, great content. nice.
Actually, TVR is kind of compared to PBS, underfunded and underwatched, but not because of the lack of quality of programs. That's
Yeah.
a different story there. Yeah. And you mentioned us. I mean, the Indonesia channel basically is doing what TVRI should be doing, promoting Indonesia to the world.
Yes.
Yes.
And we wanted, I actually
It has
signed
the
an MOU.
most coverage
We signed an MOU with them to
nationwide.
provide programs, and then it never happened because of their bureaucracy. So I don't know.
Because we advertise, we promote Indonesia,
course.
we promote our values of plurality and tolerance and the great potentials of Indonesian tourism.
And a great talk show.
Yeah.
Okay, we offer ourselves, man. Let's work together. Okay, more Hot
Yeah.
Indo is ahead. Ways to keep your things high and dry in the next flood. You're watching Hot Indonesia from Jakarta. Here's hot topic number 3, flood control. When the rains came on New Year's Eve, they would not stop until nearly 15 inches fell on Jakarta. And because of the unsolved infrastructure deficiencies in the capital, the resulting impact was massive. 66 dead, millions of dollars in property damage, and thousands sick from waterborne disease. Now, we are in the rainy season. It's no surprise, so we must expect more high water, but experts say this was the worst since 1996. So
Yeah.
it's been a while since
That-
that much rain
The
fell.
most intense in 24 years. But they say we will still be experiencing more intense rainfall
weather forecast
from
more
the
intense.
10th until the 15th of
Yeah.
January, so we should prepare ourselves.
Brace.
So
Yeah.
if we know flooding is a regular thing, we must be prepared because preparation is critical. So let's give them some advice now when heavy rains begin, and I will start with the first thing. Move into action. If you're in high ground, stay there. If you're on lower levels, get off and get to the highest point. That's common sense.
Yeah, always have like emergency lights because the moment it floods, then electricity
You mean
will
what?
be cut off.
Flashlight,
Flashlights,
candles?
emergency lights, the rechargeable ones, and have some power banks on standby all the time because if not, you can't charge your phones because communication is crucial, and you have to have medication ready.
Yeah, flash floods can really occur in a very, very fast manner.
Yep.
So you have to be very careful. Do not come and try to cross a flash flood. Make sure that you are, when you are told to evacuate, you evacuate. Do so immediately.
But people are reluctant to leave their homes.
Sometimes
they're worried about.
when I was working in the city hall, I had to go to their homes to convince them, please leave your homes because this is not safe. And sometimes they said, well, what about our belongings? Just leave it there. And we make sure that the affected areas will be well guarded. So I guess
I think take your important things. I would
Yes.
take my important
Documents.
papers,
Yeah, important
your passport,
documents, yeah.
and like Sanjita said, maybe your chargers and maybe your phones, of course, and
Put it
and,
in a
and your
tight
medication.
seal,
Your
yeah.
medication.
And
Child sealed.
important documents now can be easily reproduced.
Okay,
If you have copies, and now you it's a
not
good
worth
time.
your life. Not worth
not,
your
not
life.
worth your life.
It's like leaving evacuating a plane.
Yeah.
People don't want to stop. They said
Yeah.
don't take anything.
And now technology can basically predict the weather pattern, although the weather pattern, no thanks to climate change, have been really erratic. But you just watch what the government is basically telling. Keep yourself updated.
And
get
now
the
with mobile
information.
phones, you can get
With mobile phones, you can get it.
SMS
And
messages.
you know that this weekend, actually, right after our show, that it will be medium to very intense raining also. So be careful, stay
the
dry.
forecast.
Yeah.
Make sure you do not walk, swim, or drive through flood waters. Do
And-
not try to.
I mean, we see the pictures of the kids swimming,
I
and
know,
people look like
but-
it's fun. It looks like fun.
it is quite
It
dangerous.
is
I would not
dangerous,
allow my
it's,
children to get in the water.
unhygienic.
For a number of
It's
reasons.
a
Yeah.
source of quite a lot of diseases
course.
and snakes. Snakes also.
That's a good
Beware
point.
snakes.
Why? Why are they?
They've been coming out lately since a few months ago because since
So the water goes down, and there's snakes in your house.
yes,
Yeah, because-
Man.
we have snakes everywhere. We're a tropical country, and also what people need to bear in mind is that electricity. As soon as the water gets up, then you have to switch off your electricity, and that doesn't necessarily mean that the electricity is safe. Because if you already from the main meter, you shut it off, you still have electricity. You have to plug out everything.
The fear of
Yes,
electrocution.
electrocution.
Do not touch any electrical devices
you
while you're
have
standing in water. That's a
Plastic
basic
boots, rubber gloves. If you have to take to unplug electricity.
They don't sell
and
enough
things.
those high rubber boots. I don't see people wearing them.
You should,
do, they do,
because
they do.
that's a standard operating
Sounds like a
procedure.
business.
But
No,
anyway,
it's
I think the silver lining is actually I've seen some of the best of communities. They built in resiliency. They are very, very thorough in making sure that
Very
their
good point.
communities is being
Yes.
well guarded.
People
They
carrying
help
old
each
people on their
other.
back.
Yeah.
I've seen that picture too.
And this
Yeah.
is where I think the elites must learn from the people. The elites are really striking each other,
There is some
attacking each
criticism
other
at
in
certain
social
leaders,
media.
yeah.
But the people
the
downstairs,
bogus attacking,
Yeah.
and do
Yeah,
something.
let's get to work.
Embrace one another and help and give help, because quite a lot of people now are in need of really.
It's still, yeah, some
desperate
people are
help.
still not getting back in their homes, and more rain to come.
and for
And-
the government, massive infrastructures
Let's
to be built.
get on that.
And to
make
the
sure-
people,
The
the
dams
mentality,
upstream.
Sandy.
Yeah, and then prepare for, because the weather continues to
Of
be.
course.
You know,
It'll
to
happen
be
every
erratic.
year as long as
It
we
will-
live.
It's not only the rain. It's the mentality and the habit of the people
Of course.
throwing
The
or
rivers.
disposing
That's another story.
garbage.
Yeah, let's do
in
pollution
sewers.
soon. Okay, it is feedback time now. We want to hear from you. We like hearing from you from anywhere in the world, U.S., Europe, wherever, watching us on your computer or mobile device. Susie in Jakarta commented on our TV1 YouTube page about our discussion on extending presidential term limits. Don't create laws on behalf of the people, let the people decide. Well, that's what politicians are supposed to be doing what the people who elected them want. Okay, this was posted on our Indonesia channel Instagram page by Zoe regarding giving baby chicks to kids to replace mobile devices. Indonesia has an abundance of human resources. What's sad is if children's potentials aren't properly cultivated when young. I think we all agree on that, Zoe. Now, if you have any feedback on what you've heard or would like to
we need to
suggest...
ask Dalton feedback on my facial
Hey,
hair.
we're
on the
saving that.
mustache
We're saving
and
that for the end.
for-
Okay.
Tell me whether keep it or shave it.
Yeah, okay.
My wife wants to shave it, but
Here's
if
all the
the
info
viewers
on
of Hot Indonesia will
where to
support,
contact
it may
us.
stay next week.
All right. Okay. Final words, Sandrina.
Okay. Finally, Jakarta now follows Bali, Denpasar, and Semarang, banning the use of single plastic bags. It will go into effect only in June 2020, but at least thank you, Governor Anies Baswedan. It's about time, so we've waited for this to happen for quite some time. And hopefully by doing this, we will reduce plastic trash, which is also the cause of a lot of problems, including floods.
Yeah.
here.
Let's
Yeah.
see if we get it in Jakarta. Okay. Final words. Who is this? Is this Sandy? Okay. Final words.
Sandy
Sandy.
Tanonaka.
Yeah. Right.
Well, my thoughts, and I've been really praying for our brothers in Australia that is affected by the bushfires. And it is, again, climate change, and we're also prone to have forest fires and any type of climate change related incidents and natural disasters. So please stay safe. Make sure that we can help each other and making sure that the environment is better safeguarded in 2020.
Yeah, another annual problem. Okay, my final words. Some congratulations to the former governor of Jakarta, Basuki BTP Purnama, better known as
Oh, for the
Ahok.
new baby!
He and his wife Puput had a baby boy this past week. The child's name is Yosafat. Now, at 53 years old, the Pertamina executive is an older dad, something I respect. and
Congratulations,
can relate
Mas
to.
Ahok.
Yeah, okay. And that is Hot Indonesia for this week. For Sandrine and Sunny, I'm Dalton Talamaka. See you next time.